And he's beaten the undefeated three-weight champion Junto Nakatani by 4, by 2. That 11th and 12th, the master changing it up and doing what he does best. $100,000, not that he needs the ring or the money, but I'll tell you what, he'll be going back to his 3 kids with his marbles, his treasure and his unbeaten record as Junto Nakatani loses gracefully.
I think he did. I think he sketched out a blueprint, him and Rudy Hernandez, his good trainer, for something for the rematch, if there is a rematch, to be able to feel good about it. You know, yeah, you can control the outside, but you gotta do it with a little bit more of an aggressive jab. You want to keep that range, but you want to do it by backing him up a little bit in spots. Don't let him get that far ahead. And when you back him up again, you can have your cake and eat it too. You could be aggressive and still be the taller guy, still be the longer guy. You just have to make sure you execute properly. And I think, again, that that they probably would feel very good about a rematch. Obviously, that's going to be up to Inoue, and of course the promoters involved with him. They did a good job on the cut, by the way. You know that, Bud? We didn't even talk about it. I know it happened, you know, with only 2 rounds left, 3, 2.5, whatever. But they did a good job with that cut, stopping the bleeding.
All right, Inoue wins a unanimous decision, 116, 112 twice, 115, 113. It was a tale of like 2 fights. Early on, Nakatani wasn't doing much. Inoue actually out-jabbed Nakatani in this fight, which is not a good recipe for Nakatani. Inoue's been on the stage for a way longer time than Nakatani. He's just quicker, he's faster, he has a better ring IQ, he's got more metal in there. Inoue won this fight, and he did it in convincing fashion. Nakatani had some moments late. He's gonna wish he started a lot earlier. Where was his jab? I don't get it, but this is about Inoue. He's now 28-0 in world championship fights. Bring on that BAM fight at this point. Just keep it rolling with these mega fights. But Inoue is the man. He's top pound for pound. Good stuff from Naoya Inoue.
Inoue and Nakatani was a
2-pack of ass. That stinks.
Horrible fight, disgusting at the highest level. I'm confused why Inoue is above Shakur Stevenson, above Devin Haney. Why is Nakatani above David Benavidez? Boxing politics at its finest. I was disgusted at the fight. I thought it was overrated. Inoue wins with the unanimous decision. I thought it was musty and disgusting at the highest level. And on top of that, it made us get up early in the morning. I could have been in bed getting some extra Z's. But get this, the fight did not live up to the hype at all. For those guys to be pound for pound fighters and to be elite, for us to wake up at motherfucking 2:30 in the morning and watch this farce of a fight is absolutely musty and disgusting, and I'm absolutely horrified at the highest level. Inoue beats Nakatani, but I'm just visually disgusted. Y'all let me know what y'all think.
Max Kellerman pointed out that Naoya Inoue's level clearly separated him from the rest, while also noting that Junto Nakatani hadn't received enough attention in how the matchup was being presented.
Inoue looked better than Nakatani last time out. Nakatani really struggled. Inoue would be the favorite anyway, but Malik, could there be shades of Tyson Holyfield here where the underdog is being slept on?
I agree with a lot of you said, Max, but what I'm really not big on is I just don't see Junto as that big of an underdog. Numbers wise, he may be, but skill wise. And you said something else that went to my mind, both of their last times out, Inoue looked more impressive. But if we're talking about who fought the better opposition, I would say Nakatani fought the tougher guy. Inoue, he fought, I believe it was Picasso. That fight was a good fight, and Picasso did good things, but I thought Nakatani did very good in that way.
Meanwhile, Malik Scott dismissed the notion that Junto Nakatani was a clear underdog, highlighting his technical sharpness and consistent output as factors that kept him competitive throughout.
And I also think, I just won't be surprised, and as you all know, I already have, I'm going with Junto as the favorite in this, as far as my personal. So it won't be a big upset to me. I can't see someone with his type of technically sound game, with his system, with his work rate. I just don't see guys like that ever as an underdog in any type of fight they're in.
Mike, so, okay, that's big. Malik is saying he actually likes Junto. He'd be his favorite in this fight, not the 3-1 underdog.
Max Kellerman pointed out that regardless of style considerations, Junto Nakatani's speed, reflexes, and punching power had clearly stood out, marking him as a serious threat at the highest level.
Understand styles make fights. I get it. But in this case, I guess what I'm reacting to is Inoue is what I consider one of these super fighters. His speed, his reflexes, his power. Mike, what's the word I always like to use? The
twitchies.
Twitchies are different, right? They're elite. And Junto is like as good as it gets for a normally excellent fighter. And so I like Nakatani for that reason, as most fans do according to the odds. But you just heard Malik like Junto in this fight.
Mike Coppinger shifted focus to the next step for Naoya Inoue, pointing toward Jesse Rodriguez as the most significant matchup in the lower weight divisions as Inoue's trajectory continued to be discussed.
Then most like to see him face next, Mike. Is it like, let's hold on, let's just say, is it anyone other than either Bam moving up or Inoue moving up to fight Espinoza?
No, that's it. Those are the two options, Max. And I want to see Bam first before Inoue moves up. We have Bam moving up to 118 in June for the first time. So he's getting closer now. And I want to see that fight next if Inoue does win as expected. Again, I'm not thinking of Nakatani at all, though. I think Nakatani is going to give Inoue all he can handle. But so talking about lower weights, Inoue and Bam Rodriguez is one of the biggest fights probably in history below 126.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bam, the reason, Malik, that you look at Inoue and Bam, should Inoue beat Nakatani, is those are both special, super, top 5, pound for pound, twitchy, speed, power, skill, the whole thing type fighters, and that's always a super fight.
Max Kellerman highlighted Rafael Espinoza as a real threat and a strong option for top prospects moving forward, while Malik Scott had gone further, calling him a difficult matchup even above his weight and suggesting only elite-level opposition had made sense as his next step.
Good point. It's kind of Rocky 3. If you start fighting the wrestler or the kickboxer, it makes it hard, especially if people are bringing up, what about Caballel? What about obviously Moses Atama? And you're opting instead, or the names you're mentioning, how about this kickboxer? How about Deontay Wilder, who's past his prime? And you're 38 years old? I think what Mike is saying has validity. Where are you with that?
I'm with Mike on that totally, especially it doesn't help right now because Usyk is fighting, a kickboxer. He's basically taking a chance with something that, many of us wouldn't even consider a risk with the kickboxer. And then when you turn the page and you look at what Inoue is facing and maybe possibly facing in the future, considering Espinoza, considering Bam Rodriguez, I would say you have to put him right under Usyk, if not over top of him.
Yeah, I think Inoue. Look, there will be those in any given era. there's sometimes a guy who's clearly number one.
Jesse Rodriguez described the fight as a closely contested matchup, pointing to Naoya Inoue's steady consistency as a major factor, while also emphasizing Junto Nakatani's single shot power that made the bout dangerous at all times.
I think Inoue wins the fight, just because he has more experience. He's been in the weight division longer than Nakatani has, so I do favor Inoue, but Nakatani, he does have a chance as well, just because he has that kind of one-punch power.
Maybe that could be the big fight in your hometown, right?
Yeah, hopefully. If not, I don't mind going to Japan either. I love going to Japan. I love spending. Yeah, I love spending time there. So.
Oh, so you have traveled there before?
Yeah, I've been there plenty of times, but like I said, either San Antonio or Japan, I don't care where it's at.
Meanwhile, Sean Zittel had pointed out that Junto Nakatani showed clear knockout threat through his right hook and left hand, but needed only a few clean moments to shift exchanges, with those same timing-based entries having been highlighted against Naoya Inoue whenever he stepped in.
Nakatani has a right hook knockout shot, but basically he's gonna live and die a little bit more off landing that left hand. And the thing is, Nakatani, he may only need 1 or 2 or 3 big moments in that fight to beat Inoue. He's just got to line him up and get full extension on his left hand, on his power, or catch Inoue on a right hook coming in with it.
Andre Rozier added another layer to the breakdown by saying Naoya Inoue's sharpness and experience had stood out more compared to Junto Nakatani, while still giving Nakatani full credit, and also noting that attention had been shifting toward Jesse Rodriguez, with a weight adjustment still seen as an important step before that level of challenge.
Who you got between Inoue and Nakatani?
Inoue.
Okay, I thought you would say that. So it kind of seems, I mean, he is the favorite, and that is a mega fight, so much respect to Nakatani. I think he's an amazing fighter. But it really seems like the fight is Inoue and Bam.
Right.
It seems like the fight, man.
Everyone is waiting for that fight. I think that Robert's done a fantastic job with Bam also. I mean, really. With his whole team, to tell you the truth. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that that's going to be a good fight. I'd like to see Bam acclimate to a new weight class first, instead of jumping right into that fire, because that is real fire there.
Bruce Carrington reflected on the fight by noting that Naoya Inoue didn't rely only on pressure, but still carried the stronger inside game compared to Junto Nakatani, pointing out that Nakatani had looked uncomfortable in close exchanges where he often needed space to reset, while also mentioning that Inoue had shown moments of vulnerability when stepping in aggressively.
It's not like Inoue. Like, Inoue is not going to be no pressure fighter, you know, but I will say Inoue has a better inside game than Nakatani. Like, in the inside is where Nakatani has huge holes. It's not like minor holes. He has huge holes, bro, in his game. And he wants to create space all the time. Like, he feels very uncomfortable when you're uptight, you know, close with him. So if Inoue could use his height disadvantage to his, you know, advantage, I feel like he can definitely, you know, get some nice combinations in there and, you know, put Nakatani out. Because Nakatani was getting hit with some big shots from the inside, with like shots that you wouldn't even have to like be super sharp to get out of the way from. Nakatani's still a problem though, and we've seen Inoue get knocked down by him being like getting overzealous, just jumping in and getting caught with certain shots.
Bruce Carrington acknowledged that Junto Nakatani's timing had caused problems in exchanges, while also stating that Naoya Inoue had looked more complete overall, with defensive gaps in Nakatani's game becoming a key talking point in the aftermath.
On him up, he has great timing, you know, so there are some pros and cons, you know, some disadvantages and advantages for both fighters. But I think Inoue, he has them, like, out of all of them, he has the biggest pros, and I think he could mess around and stop Nakatani. Before I was like, I don't know. But after that last fight with Nakatani, I'm like, no, he got some really big holes in his game.
Before the official fight announcement, Teddy Atlas had spoken about Naoya Inoue versus Junto Nakatani as a closely followed matchup, acknowledging Inoue's dominance and Nakatani's ability to disrupt it, while adding that it had carried high risk due to its potential to shift expectations.
It's getting closer and closer to a showdown with Inoue and Nakatani. If anybody other than Father Time later on, it's still going to be a few years before he shows up with Inoue. If anyone could upset the apple cart, I think it would be Nakatani. I don't think Inoue and his people should. I'm not saying they shouldn't fight him at the right time, but that's the kind of fight you don't jump, because that could upset the apple cart. He's that good. I'm not saying he beats Inoue. I ain't going against Inoue, but I'm saying that that's a big risk.
Lance Pugmire believed that Junto Nakatani couldn't be defined by a single performance, adding that one outing hadn't reflected his overall level and that he had still been regarded as a high-skill operator despite recent criticism.
This is a huge event, massive event. And regardless of how Nakatani didn't look spectacular in his last fight, there's some reasons for that also, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, as you're talking about a guy that he took on in Sebastian Hernandez is a tough hombre. I mean, Rudy Hernandez talks about it, I believe, in this interview where he says, you know, like, we had some information that Sebastian Hernandez was over there in Japan and actually was brought in to spar with Naoya Inoue for less than a week. I mean, he was just a lot for Inoue to deal with. And he only lasted a week. He, you know, according to Rudy Hernandez, they basically sent him out. Now, is that spin? I don't know, but that's what Rudy Hernandez says. And we did see that Hernandez gave Nakatani such a tough time. And
on the other hand, Nonito Donaire viewed the matchup as highly competitive, highlighting Junto Nakatani's power and technical skill, comparing the hype to Mayweather versus Pacquiao, and noting he followed it more as a fan than from an analytical perspective.
Who do you think wins that fight?
I mean, that's really hard to tell, man, because Nakatani is a tremendous fighter too, tremendous power puncher and all of that stuff. So for me, that's some fight that it has to happen. That's a fight that like a Mayweather Pacquiao when they were young. You know, that's the fight that everybody's gonna be looking forward to, especially for boxing fans.
Who do you give I mean, you got to break down tape.
Man, I can't break down nothing right now, man. Yeah. Like, you know, there's so many things. There's so many things.
You'd have to go in the lab.
I'm just a fan.
Junto Nakatani had shown defensive openings when letting his hands go, especially after jabs, while Naoya Inoue's precision and timing had consistently made those mistakes costly at elite level.
Naoya Inoue is going to exploit Junto Nakatani's defense. Junto Nakatani is taller, but he's very sloppy, especially when he throws shots. Like, he'll throw a jab and then you'll see like his face is open, right? He doesn't he's not covering his face when he throws the jab. And he does have extension, but the problem is that with Naoya Inoue, you have to be fully covered, okay? You have to have the full insurance, because Naoya Inoue is very experienced and he's been in the ring with strong fighters, opponents that were difficult, opponents that could give anybody trouble, and he's able to dispatch them. I mean, he basically dispatched all his opponents. So
a boxing analyst highlighted that Junto Nakatani had shown some defensive flaws after moving up in weight, with less crisp head movement and a history of being dropped in earlier fights. He further noted that those openings would be far more dangerous against Naoya Inoue, where precise timing punishes even minor mistakes.
Junto Nakatani needs to really work with his defense in this fight, because I think Naoya Inoue is going to exploit those holes defensively. Now, of course, Naoya Inoue has been dropped before. Neri dropped him. Nonito Donaire dropped him. He got dropped another time as well. So he can be dropped because his head movement, as he moved up in weight classes, also got a little bit sloppy, especially because he's putting more weight. Sometimes it's just, it's just harder for your reflexes when you put more weight to move your head and just, do certain moves. But the problem is that Naoya Inoue's timing is better than Junto Nakatani's timing. And I think that Junto Nakatani, when he throws hooks or sometimes when he's throwing certain shots, it reminds me of Navarrete in a few things.
That's all from today's video. We hope you enjoyed it. Share your thoughts on the Naoya Inoue versus Junto Nakatani discussion and let us know who you had winning. Don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns and boxing content.